Today we're going to have a look at adding and subtracting surds. So just like with algebra, we can only add or subtract like surds. So let's practice some algebra first. So remember 5a plus 2a is 7a. 9b minus 4b is 5b. And a slightly more complicated one, 8c plus 3 minus c plus 4d. Here are our like terms. The others are not. So 8c minus c is 7c. Then we've still got our 4d and we've still got our plus 3. So they're not like terms, so we can't add them. So the same type of thing applies with surds. So 5 root 3 plus 2 root 3. So I've got 5 of them plus another 2 of them. Then we've got 7 of them. So 7 root 3. Our next one. So if we've got 9 root 7 minus 4 root 7, so 9 of them minus 4 of them gives me 5 of them, so 5 root 7. And our last one, 8 root 5 plus 3 minus root 5 plus 4 root 2. There are our like surds, so 8 root 5 minus root 5, or minus 1 of them. Remember there's a 1 there. So 8 of them minus 1 of them gives me 7 root 5. I've still got 4 root 2 there, and I've still got 3. Remember, I cannot add them because they are not like surds. Okay, so it's important that we can only add or subtract like surds. So let's practice some more. We have to be careful though, because some surds don't look like they're like surds when in fact they are. So we may need to practice or use some of our simplifying of surds first before we can add or subtract them like we did in my last video. So let's look at a couple of examples. First one, square root of 98 minus the square root of 50. They don't look like they're like surds. And the other one over here, 4 root 3 plus square root of 18 minus root 75. Again, they don't look like they're like surds. So let's maybe try and simplify them. But we might want to remember what our square factors are in simplifying them. So square root of 98 is the same as 49 times 2. Remember 49 is square number. And then we're going to subtract, let's look at 50. The largest square factor of 50 is 25. So I'm going to change 98 is 49 times 2 and 50 is 25 times 2. And remember when we were simplifying them before, we can separate them. So square root of 49 times the square root of 2, separate that surd. Same with this one, separate them into 2. Simplify the first one, so that becomes 7 root 2, and the second one becomes 5 root 2. And then they're like surds, 7 root 2 minus 5 root 2 is 2 root 2. So remember, we need to make sure we know our highest square factor of these to be able to simplify them. So let's try it with the next one. Our highest square factor of that is 1, and that's not going to change it. So it stays as it is. Square root of 18. Our highest square factor of 18 is 9, so 9 times 2. So let's change the square root of 18 to 9 times 2. And 75, well that's the same as 25 times 3, so let's separate that one, or make that into one product there. Now let's start to simplify them. So instead of separating them out, we might just simplify them straight away. So that stays the same. Square root of 9 is 3, so there's our 3 root 2. And the square root of 25 is 5, so that's 5 root 3. Now let's look at our like surds. 4 root 3 minus 5 root 3 is negative 1 root 3, and I don't need the 1. And I've still got my positive 3 root 2. And usually we don't like starting off with negatives if we can avoid it. So I'm going to write these two the opposite way around. So the positive 1 is first, and my negative 1 is second. So I can make it harder by putting a multiplier out the front here. So that multiplies that term there. But that's no different really from what we've been practicing so far. So to get better at adding and subtracting these surds, then you need to practice, and practice again, and again do some further practice, and you'll find that adding and subtracting surds will be quite easy. So I hope you found this video useful and that you get better at your surds.